did Blue feel when the kids didn't want to play?
Sad.
He was really upset about it.
So he tried to build a tree house.
Want to play. So he tried to build a tree house, and then what happened at the
They
end?
wanted to play with him.
They played where?
In the tree house.
They played in the tree house at the end.
Are we gonna write
Finally.
they played in the tree house?
Or
Blue?
should we say they played in the treehouse with Blue, or could we
I just
say
said-
they played with him?
Yeah.
Or they played with Blue? Finally, they played with Blue?
No, I think play with Blue.
They played with Blue. All right. I think visible learning in the kindergarten classroom means that the students are independently learning, or they're learning together. I view myself as the facilitator of instruction, so I'm not there dictating exactly what they're learning. That a lot of their learning is through exploration, or with talking with one another, or independently practicing what I put out in front of them. And that's the visible learning there, that they're doing it themselves, not me giving it to them. They are showing their learning by themselves and being independent learners. And I think what's so important is that that can happen when they're 5. Sometimes we're afraid to let those little ones go and show what they know, and they certainly can do that independent learning, and especially when given the structure of the Daily 5.
Hey, what'd you learn about today?
We learned vowels can make hi, they can say their names. Yeah.
What do you mean vowels can say their names?
Seriously?
Yes, seriously.
Long vowels say their names, and short vowels say their sounds like e, and
Oh, cool. Very cool. What's your favorite station in the Daily 5?
Listen to reading,
Yeah, why is Listen to Reading your favorite?
because we get to look on iPads.
Yeah, because you get to use the iPads?
Yeah.
What about the iPads makes it your favorite? Like, why do you like to do that?
Because we get to watch stories that actually move.
Oh, okay.
So last time we did that review, we gave you that little feedback survey. We took everything you guys said. You liked the chunking, you liked working with Miss P, you liked the highlighting. So we're gonna continue to do those 3 things today, okay? So there's gonna be 3 groups. So we'll just leave these up here for you so you kind of know your rotation, and they're at the bottom of each page, okay?
Amy and I, we construct videos together, and we will do the direct, explicit instruction through our videos. So sometimes it's us writing on the paper, sometimes it's us doing a PowerPoint, but it's always us explaining everything step by step by step of what they need to know for that skill, whatever it might be. And so that's what they're watching at home. They're completing the notes, and then we ask them a series of questions throughout the video so that when they're coming in the next day, we can then gauge what we need to do for class that day.
So now when they come in, there's 4 questions. So we know they got a 1 out of 4, we gotta spend a little bit extra time with that student, or the whole group really got 2s and 3s. So, all right, we're gonna do a little more direct instruction today, a little less group work, so we can kind of gauge how we're gonna present our lesson to them based on how they did on those questions. So they want exact. So just make,
So you just made that 6.
that would be to the nearest whole number. So what would exact look like?
Would it be 40?
What are they standing in for? Like A's, B's, C's, the legs, which means they're what letters?
B and C. I mean, A and B.
A and B, which makes this guy what?
C.
Can you go from there?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay.
One of the things that we are really trying to hope for here is collaboration and the kids working together, the kids helping each other, using math language. And I think with the atmosphere that Pam and I have created and them sitting with their peers, if you walk around this room, you can see kids talking math and helping each other with math. And they're so comfortable with who they're sitting with, they're not afraid to ask for those things. So, I mean, right off the bat, that group work and them helping each other is visible learning immediately. It's awesome.
Well, for us to hear them explaining it and teaching it to other kids lets us know they really know what they're doing now. Because if
Yeah.
you're able to teach it, that means that you really know it. So that's cool for us to see.
Normally in a normal class, there's just this set ideal learner that sits there and listens to the teacher and just immediately understands the notes and stuff. And I'm kind of the total opposite of that. So this class really helped because I could review over and over, and then the night before, if I didn't understand something in the video, I could rewatch it. So that was really helpful to me.
Understand things better. I have always struggled in math. I just moved here, so I was always struggling, but now I'm like excited to go to math class because instead of just like listening to people, it's like hands-on, which is a lot easier for me.
Here's the deal. At the end of class, creative writing projects are due, turned in on Classroom if possible. Your documentaries will be uploaded to YouTube, turned in on Classroom so that I can actually watch them. And then you're gonna work on your reflection for the rest of class if you have that time. I'm the kind of teacher who doesn't spend a lot of time teaching in front of the room. It's a lot more facilitation, and they do a lot of the work themselves. And they don't realize it. I'll get up there and get them started, or I'll answer questions, but a lot of what I do is just walk around and help facilitate their learning as best I can. I would try to recapture that footage because I would hate for you to have a documentary where you don't include his perspective. Yeah, where you don't include his perspective too, because he really had interesting things to say, it sounded like.
I try to like add some funniness in there. Like it's kind of difficult.
Yeah, no, it's
obviously.
good because it's kind of like,
Yeah.
I think what you need, if you just have relentless sadness and you don't have
Like
the
the
other
fun-
side,
yeah.
you don't see how sad the sadness is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you need
Yeah,
both.
you need like a little bit of something.
Exactly, in order to get the balance
Yeah.
that you get.
If you see, I believe.
So the common idea ultimately really is this idea that we've been thinking about all year, which is what is true learning? What does it mean to really be an education? And they were all year kind of thinking about this, sometimes without realizing that they were thinking about this. So at the beginning of the year when I asked them, what does learning look like? And they gave me all these beautiful answers. And I asked them, what does school look like? And they gave me all these negative answers. All year we've been talking about how we bridge the gap between those two things. And this is the moment where they come back to the beginning of the year. And all of the things we've talked about, collaboration, creativity, student choice, doing things in an interesting and unusual way, but doing it on their own, that's where they are now.
She just explains the gist of everything, and she really wants you to go in your own direction. It really allows you to release like your inner work and show you how far you can go by yourself without any other help. And like she's always there if you need her, but most of the time you don't even feel like you do.
Education has shifted drastically in the last decade or so. So in the past, you would have classrooms that, the teacher was kind of the owner of all knowledge, and students just sat and received the information they needed. Today, instead of having that, students are taking ownership of the learning. They have choice in what they're learning, how they're learning. And part of that requires them to be able to collaborate and problem solve. There's flexibility in the physical space, so maybe they can't sit at a desk all day. Instead, they're better if they're standing, or some of them like to sit on the floor. So, giving them that flexibility in the space and giving teachers flexibility with how they're teaching, so that they can make sure that they're meeting the needs of all of the students.